Women's bodies reveal their sexual interest long before they say a word. Most men get caught up in what she says, but the most successful men pay attention to what her body is actually communicating. Words can be deceptive, biology cannot. Subtle cues, micro-expressions, shifts in posture, involuntary physical responses leak her true level of desire. This isn't just about reading body language. It's about understanding the biological reality of female sexual attraction. Genuine arousal triggers predictable responses in the autonomic nervous system, responses she can't consciously control. These signals exist for a reason. Across evolutionary history, women who accurately signaled sexual interest to high-value men had a reproductive advantage. Yet here's what most men miss. The body language of lust is completely different from the body language of politeness or friendliness. A woman being nice, professional, or socially polite shows a very different set of physiological cues than a woman experiencing real sexual desire. Recognizing the difference can be the line between wasted time and focusing on women who actually want you. To decode women's lustful signals, you first need to understand the biology behind them. Sexual arousal triggers automatic changes across her body. Small, involuntary responses that broadcast desire without her having to say a word. When a woman feels genuine sexual attraction, her sympathetic nervous system kicks in. Her heart rate rises, pupils dilate, and blood flow shifts toward erogenous zones. Hormones flood her system, heightening sensitivity and producing the unmistakable physical sensations of arousal. These responses happen automatically. They cannot be consciously controlled. The evolutionary purpose is clear. These signals communicate sexual availability to desirable men while keeping plausible deniability for social safety. Women who could show interest without appearing overtly sexual were more likely to attract high-value partners and avoid social backlash. That's why her lustful body language often seems subtle or even accidental. Her body is wired to broadcast desire to men who can read the signs, while the same signals can pass as normal behavior to those who can't. This lets her test a man's sexual awareness without risking social consequences. Understanding this biology helps you spot genuine sexual interest and avoid mistaking friendliness or politeness for desire. A sexually interested woman displays physiological markers she cannot fake. The eyes are the most telling, directly linked to the autonomic nervous system. They reveal arousal more reliably than any other signal. Pupil dilation is the clearest indicator. Sexual arousal triggers the sympathetic nervous system, expanding the pupils regardless of lighting, and there's no conscious way to hide it. A woman who's genuinely attracted to you will show noticeably larger pupils during conversation, even in bright light. But pupil dilation alone isn't enough. It must be read alongside her eye contact patterns to reveal true sexual interest. A sexually interested woman holds her gaze longer than normal, letting her eyes linger in a way that feels charged, not casual. Her eyes keep returning to yours throughout the conversation, creating a rhythm that's different from ordinary social interaction. Researchers call this bedroom eyes. Slightly lowered eyelids, dilated pupils, and a soft, focused gaze that signals desire. Sexual arousal relaxes the muscles around her eyes while increasing blood flow, producing this unmistakable expression. Another subtle sign is frequent glances at your mouth. This unconscious mouth gazing reflects preoccupation with kissing and oral contact. When paired with other indicators, it's a strong signal of genuine sexual interest. What really sets lustful eye contact apart is the energy it creates. Normal eye contact facilitates conversation. Sexual eye contact generates a tangible tension, an invisible pull that communicates desire without a single word. A woman experiencing genuine attraction will hold your gaze in ways that feel intimate and provocative. Sexual desire also triggers specific postural changes, orienting her body toward the object of her interest. These shifts happen unconsciously as her body seeks proximity and opportunities for contact. The most obvious cue is body orientation. A sexually interested woman positions herself to face you directly, even in a group where it isn't necessary. Her torso, hips, and feet all point toward you, regardless of how others are arranged. Sexual arousal also alters her overall posture. She straightens her spine, lifts her chest, and pulls her shoulders back, subtle adjustments that highlight her figure. These changes stem from a combination of attraction, confidence, and a desire to appear physically appealing. Proximity is another tell. She instinctively moves closer during conversation, enters your personal space, and creates reasons to be near you. This behavior signals a desire for contact and intimacy. Perhaps the most revealing sign is how she positions herself relative to escape routes. A genuinely interested woman avoids placing herself near exits or creating barriers. Instead, she situates herself to enable closer contact and private interaction. These postural cues are reliable because they occur beneath conscious awareness. They reveal desire before she ever says a word. A woman can control her words, but she cannot fully control how her body unconsciously orients towards someone she finds sexually attractive. Physical touch is one of the clearest indicators of female sexual interest because it combines conscious action with unconscious desire. Women who are merely being friendly rarely initiate touch, while sexually interested women actively create opportunities for contact. This usually starts subtly. She might brush against you while passing, let her hand linger when handing you something, or position herself where contact becomes unavoidable. These touches appear accidental, but they aren't. They are brief, frequent, and always have plausible explanations. As arousal and comfort increase, her touches grow more intentional and intimate. She might place a hand on your arm while laughing, touch your chest while talking, or make contact with areas that serve no social purpose. These touches last longer and occur in zones that feel personal. A sexually aroused woman also engages in self-touch around you. She plays with her hair, caresses her neck or arms, or runs her hands along her body. This behavior signals heightened body awareness and an unconscious desire to draw your attention to her form. Most importantly, she responds positively when you initiate touch. A woman who's genuinely attracted doesn't pull away from appropriate contact. Instead, she leans in, maintains touch longer than necessary, and creates opportunities for you to touch her again. Lustful touching feels charged with sexual energy. Unlike social touches, which serve practical purposes, sexual touches generate palpable tension and desire for more intimate contact. Sexual arousal also affects her voice in ways she cannot control. Excitement changes breathing, muscle tension, and hormone levels, all of which impact speech. The most noticeable change is vocal pitch. Arousal relaxes muscles, lowering her pitch and giving her voice a huskier, breathier quality. She speaks in deeper tones than normal, more slowly and deliberately, creating pauses that feel charged with sexual tension. Her speech becomes rhythmic and hypnotic as her breathing deepens and her body relaxes. Volume plays a role too. She may speak more quietly, forcing you to lean closer, which increases physical proximity and creates a sense of intimacy, even in public. Unconscious vocal sounds are also telling. Soft murmurs, breathy exhalations, and subtle sighs signal arousal. Her laughter changes as well, more genuine, longer lasting, and more frequent, reflecting elevated mood and responsiveness to pleasure. Hair manipulation is another reliable sign of sexual interest. When aroused, women unconsciously draw attention to their hair and neck. She might stroke her hair, twirl strands around her fingers, or smooth it repeatedly. These movements highlight her hair while releasing pheromones from her scalp and hands, subtly signaling attraction. Neck exposure is another powerful signal. A sexually interested woman tilts her head to reveal her neck, pulls her hair to one side, or touches her neck while talking. The neck contains sensitive blood vessels and erogenous zones, and sexual arousal makes these areas more noticeable. Hair flipping and tossing are equally telling. Women who are genuinely attracted make deliberate, attention-grabbing movements that draw your eyes to their face and create dynamic visual interest. She may also use her hair to create intimate moments, leaning forward so it falls around both of you, or positioning herself so you can catch its scent. These behaviors tap into hair's subtle but powerful impact on male attraction. Most importantly, these hair and neck behaviors don't happen in isolation. A woman experiencing genuine lust repeats these gestures throughout your interaction, forming clusters of signals that reinforce her interest. Sexual arousal also triggers changes in breathing and pulse that are impossible to consciously control. Breathing becomes deeper and slower as her body responds to heightened heart rate and increased oxygen needs. You can notice this through chest movement and the rhythm of her speech. Her pulse also quickens, often visible at the neck, wrists, or temples. During close conversation, a faster, more pronounced pulse is a reliable indicator of genuine sexual interest. Sexual arousal affects her breathing as well. A woman who's genuinely attracted takes deeper breaths before speaking, sighs more frequently, and produces breathy vocal tones. These changes happen automatically, as sexual excitement impacts respiratory control and vocal cord tension. Flushing is another involuntary indicator. Increased blood flow produces subtle color changes in her face, neck, and chest, creating a soft glow or blush, particularly noticeable in good lighting. These physiological cues are most reliable when they occur together. Multiple involuntary signs appearing simultaneously create a recognizable pattern of genuine sexual interest. Sexual attraction also drives unconscious behavioral synchronization between partners. The sexually interested woman mirrors your posture, gestures, and movement rhythms without thinking, creating a natural behavioral harmony. She matches your energy, coordinates her movements with yours, and even unconsciously aligns her breathing with yours, producing a sense of intimate connection. Vocal mirroring further reinforces this bond. She matches your speech patterns, volume, pace, and occasionally repeats your words, creating a conversational flow that feels effortless and engaging. This synchronization extends to movement. When walking or shifting positions, she adjusts her pace and motions to match yours, facilitating continued interaction. These mirroring behaviors require genuine attraction and rarely occur in women who are merely being polite. Here's where sexual interest can become more overt: territorial behaviors. A lustful woman may position herself between you and other attractive women, creating subtle physical barriers to limit competitors' access. She may escalate her sexual signaling, increase touch, and become more affectionate in the presence of rivals. Visible jealousy is another strong indicator. She may withdraw, act quietly, or intensify attention-seeking behaviors when you interact with others. Finally, a sexually interested woman begins talking about future interactions. She suggests activities you can do together, mentions places she wants to go with you, and creates opportunities for private time, signaling her desire to build connection while excluding others from her plans. These territorial and presentation behaviors are significant because they require emotional investment beyond casual social interaction. A woman who's merely being friendly doesn't feel the need to claim your attention or compete with others for it. Sexual arousal motivates women to enhance their physical presentation in ways designed to increase sexual appeal, sometimes consciously, often unconsciously. The most obvious sign is clothing adjustment. A sexually interested woman may pull down her shirt to reveal more cleavage, adjust her skirt to show more leg, or remove layers to display skin. These movements may appear casual, but are intended to increase her sexual attractiveness. Posture plays a key role as well. She arches her back to emphasize curves, tilts her hips forward to highlight her figure, or positions herself to showcase her most appealing features. These adjustments create more alluring silhouettes. Grooming behaviors also become more frequent. She reapplies lipstick, checks her appearance in mirrors, and makes small adjustments to enhance her attractiveness. Jewelry and accessory manipulation intensifies, playing with necklaces to draw attention to her décolletage, adjusting earrings to highlight her neck, or repositioning bracelets to accentuate her hands and wrists. These presentation behaviors are reliable because they require conscious effort focused on sexual appeal, effort a woman not interested wouldn't bother with. Sexual attraction also drives women to subtly violate normal social boundaries in order to create physical intimacy. She seeks closeness, moves within your personal space, and makes opportunities for touch. If you're recognizing these patterns in your interactions, or this analysis is revealing signals you've been missing, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement ensures these conversations continue, helping men understand the biological realities of female sexual attraction. Proximity behaviors are a clear sign of genuine sexual interest because they require overriding social conditioning about personal space. The most obvious cue is consistent movement into your intimate zone. A sexually interested woman positions herself closer than social norms dictate, even when ample space is available, and finds reasons to maintain that closeness during conversation. She also creates shared spaces that feel private and exclusive. She may suggest moving to quieter areas, position herself in corners or alcoves where you're partially hidden, or subtly form an intimate bubble around your interaction, even in public. Sitting behaviors reinforce this. The aroused woman chooses seats that allow closer contact, positions herself so your legs or arms can touch, and subtly adjusts her posture to maintain intimacy. She may even use objects, placing her purse, phone, or personal items near you, to mark territory and assert her presence in your immediate environment. These behaviors are significant precisely because women are socially trained to maintain respectful distance, so overriding that instinct signals genuine sexual motivation. Sexual arousal also drives subtle oral behaviors linked to feeding and nurturing instincts. These behaviors are largely unconscious but reliably indicate interest. A sexually aroused woman often becomes more sensual in her eating and drinking, making eye contact while consuming items and drawing attention to her mouth and lips. Lip-focused gestures, glances, and behaviors become more pronounced during sexual arousal, signaling desire without a word. A lustful woman frequently licks or bites her lips, or runs her tongue across them. Sexual excitement increases blood flow and sensitivity in the lips, making these gestures involuntary signals of arousal. She may also engage in symbolic oral behaviors with objects, sucking on straws in suggestive ways, licking spoons or fingers while eating, or consuming food in ways that draw attention to her mouth. Sharing drinks or food can become more common, offering indirect oral contact and creating subtle intimacy. These behaviors are tied to primitive biological instincts related to feeding, nurturing, and sexual contact, making them reliable indicators of genuine sexual interest. A woman who isn't attracted won't engage in these sensual consumption behaviors. Sexual attraction also motivates women to display vulnerability and openness, signaling readiness for intimate interaction. Neck exposure and head tilting are key indicators. She tilts her head to reveal her neck, leans back to expose her throat, and positions herself in ways that demonstrate trust and receptivity. Relaxed body posture further communicates sexual openness. Her muscles soften, and her overall demeanor becomes more approachable. Hand and arm positioning reinforces this vulnerability. She keeps her palms visible, avoids crossing her arms defensively, and uses gestures that invite rather than block contact. Verbal submission often accompanies these physical cues. She asks for your opinions, seeks guidance, or defers to your leadership in ways that signal respect and attraction to masculine authority. These behaviors are significant because they override instinctive defenses, revealing genuine sexual interest and readiness for intimacy. Displaying submission and openness signals genuine trust and sexual interest. To truly understand women's lustful body language, you must focus on patterns rather than isolated gestures. Genuine sexual attraction produces multiple, simultaneous indicators that create recognizable arousal patterns. A sexually aroused woman doesn't rely on a single cue. Eye contact, postural positioning, escalating touch, vocal changes, proximity, and presentation enhancements all occur together. Timing matters too. These signals appear early in interaction and intensify as engagement continues. They don't develop gradually. They emerge quickly and strengthen naturally. Context is crucial. Professional settings, family gatherings, and formal events may suppress sexual signaling, while social environments like parties or casual gatherings allow more obvious displays. The key is recognizing clusters of coordinated indicators that amplify over time. Single gestures can be ambiguous, but multiple simultaneous cues provide clear evidence of genuine sexual interest. Interpreting these signals also requires your own sexual confidence. Women's lustful body language is often subtle, and recognizing it demands masculine awareness and experience. Understanding these patterns gives you a strategic advantage. You can focus your energy on women who are genuinely interested while avoiding wasted effort on those who aren't. When you recognize genuine sexual interest, you can escalate interaction confidently instead of hesitating or overthinking her responses. The woman showing multiple arousal indicators wants you to respond, not ignore her. Conversely, a woman who doesn't display these cues isn't sexually interested, no matter how friendly she may seem. Sexual intelligence allows you to calibrate your approach. Subtle interest calls for gentle escalation, while obvious arousal signals readiness for more direct interaction and faster physical progression. Accurately reading these signals builds confidence, reduces approach anxiety, and ensures you know when you're genuinely wanted. The fundamental truth about women's lustful body language is this: it reflects biological reality, not social conditioning. When a woman experiences genuine sexual attraction, her body produces involuntary responses that cannot be faked or suppressed. Recognizing these patterns allows you to respond appropriately, focus on opportunity, and avoid misinterpretation. This knowledge protects you from wasting time and energy on women who aren't genuinely interested, while helping you recognize and respond to those who are. Understanding female sexual biology gives you strategic advantages most men never develop. A woman who displays multiple arousal indicators simultaneously is communicating sexual availability and desire for escalation. A woman who doesn't display these signals isn't sexually interested, no matter what she says or how socially engaging she may appear. Learning to read these biological signals accurately separates you from men who constantly misinterpret female behavior and waste years pursuing women who are never sexually available. Sexual intelligence is the difference between success and frustration in romantic interactions. The choice is yours. Continue missing obvious sexual signals while pursuing women who aren't interested, or develop the awareness to recognize genuine sexual opportunity when it appears. Your success depends on understanding the difference between social politeness and sexual attraction. Women's bodies will tell you everything you need to know if you're intelligent enough to read the signals. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic 95 and press the bell icon.